Well, modern political economy, as many people call it, is a field of research that sort of has its roots in work that some of us did in the 1990s and 2000s. And it takes a step away from the traditional economic approach, which sort of stops at analyzing how economic policy making affects the economy. Here, the next step, if you like, is to ask how economic policy itself gets done. And the answer, very, very broadly, is that economic and political forces together shape economic policy in a systematic fashion. The first paper we wrote on how economic growth and inequality hang together was from the 1990s, and this is my joint work with Guido Tabellini, a co-recipient of the prize, where we emphasized how when some people are worse off, and much worse off than the majority, then they may want to ask for a lot of redistributive policies. These redistributive policies could come in the form of taxes or other interventions that one way or another hit investors, and investors are less keen to do their thing, then economic growth will go down. So that's one mechanism. Another mechanism, which is more sort of emphasized in my joint work with Tim Besley 10 or 15 years later, is about how inequality can foster political violence, and when there is a lot of political violence, either by the government or between various groups in society, then that's also not a great environment for people to invest, and growth can suffer as a result. I would say so. The governing parties come and go, but the institutions tend to be much more sticky. And a particular interest here would be political institutions. So is the country governed by a presidential regime, or is it governed by a parliament? Are politicians elected by plurality rule like they are in the US or the UK, or are they elected by proportional representation as in many other countries? These are examples of institutions that map systematically into different economic policy outcomes. So I would say, yes, it's more important than ideology.